Alright then, welcome. Apologies for the massively delayed stream. I had some work that needed attending to earlier today, which has unfortunately drained a fairly large amount of my energy. I'll do my best today. Hello, Aaron. Welcome. I'm glad to see you around. You've really stuck it out. As I was saying, I'm not entirely certain how long I'll be going. I'm probably just going to try and finish this as best I can. And get Laoshin's card done. Yeah, it's good. It's difficult to articulate, but I do really appreciate that you, stuck around. Yes, so I don't know how familiar you are with the concept of the tarot. If you've seen JoJo's Bizarre Adventure or played Persona, it should at the very least be passingly familiar. Let's see, I have a reference image in my downloads for the entire deck. But the basic idea behind them is that they are a set of cards that are used to tell fortunes in the future. Here we are. This is the full deck of tarot cards. There's a total of 23 of them, I think it is. Or 22? 22. Going from 0 to 21. Right now I've completed number 1, the Fool, and I'm currently working on, or number 0, the Fool. I'm currently working on number 1, and I asked other Vtubers if they would be interested, and currently, I am the Fool, Laoshin is Magician, we have Jisok as the Chariot, who's Strength again? Strength is checked, though. Who else? Temperance is checked. Who was Strength? Having difficulty remembering for some reason. Someone is Tower. And... let's see, who was it? Mitspun wanted either Judgment or Justice. One or the other. So, that'll have to be looked into when I get around to it. Unfortunately, I'm progressing fairly slowly, so it could be a while until then. Right now I'm working on the Magician. Unfortunately, I have a fairly good rough outline, and I just need to get the solid inking layers in. And then I can start coloring. But let's narrow that brush down a little bit. The additional delay that happened earlier today, or not earlier today, but a little while ago, was because the drawing program that I use, which is Clip Studio Paint, was running into some fairly irritating issues, as it so often does. Because unfortunately, it does not like to work properly at any moment's notice. I had to restart my computer. It led to a additional 5-minute delay on this already late stream. Does Laoshin actually not have? Fascinating, he has rounded ears. Suppose I should have noticed that. And I should actually detail in his face rather than having this gormless blank expression. What do your eyes look like? Very rhombus-like. Oh, also, because of how my setup works, or how my computer works, I suppose, I cannot have my face cam running because I don't have enough USB ports on it. And I need to plug my tablet in when I'm drawing. So unfortunately, my movement is compromised. Yes, thank you. I will do my best. Actually very flat tops to the eyes. See. Notable lashes as well. He is a bard, I suppose. My charisma stat. Actually, where is the face sketch? There it is. Just going to get rid of these eyes. They're only making it more confusing. I do keep jumping back and forth. Okay, his eyes are very circular. Very large pupils as well. One of the best circles I've ever drawn in this. I really do need to start working with larger canvases. As soon as I get into the zoomed in level where I can see the pixels, it starts to bother me a lot. Since this is a very symmetrical piece, to just be able to flip his eye. But just to get rid of the fuzzy borders, I'll redraw it on the correct layer instead of transferring it over. There we are. Alright, that looks fine. Perhaps they're a bit high up on his head. Okay, where are they proportional to the ears? No, that's about right. Well then. Is art set? I really need to actually focus on the face as I switch back and forth. Very interestingly, he has a notable nose ridge, which isn't actually something that's very common for this style. Hello, Naruto. I don't know that I have uptime as a command. If it's something that has to be custom enabled, I'll have to do that at some point later.
Oh, my lovely boy! Oh no!
I'm assuming that you can hear the glitch sounds that are occurring just before the sound effect itself plays, and I'm not entirely sure why that's happening. I'd like to solve it, but not entirely sure what to do about it. I feel as if it might just be something that happens the first few times it's used. Has to load in the sound effect. Yes, as you probably noticed, there are a few more sound redeems that are available now. Very low, so no problem. Alright. I'll take your word for it. Yes, you commented on that. But why?
Because God has cursed me for my hubris, and my work is never finished.
Oh, that one's actually very applicable for this stream. Because the chances of me finishing this in any reasonable amount of time is fairly low. I'll do my best, though.
I am the bone of my soul,
I've made this one a bit more expensive.
unknown to life, unlimited. Blade works.
I just did that because I like Unlimited Blade Works. It's quite a bit longer than the rest of them, so it's, what, around 20 points more? Or no. It's 50% more expensive, I'm fairly certain. What is it, 180 instead of 120? I will take a drink as well. Alright. Wow, you have been here for quite a while, haven't you, Naruto? What a good song that's from. In case you haven't heard that song before, it's from a, yes, Naruto's been here for quite a while. I feel like he'd have a fair few more points than you. Because, I mean, last stream was your first one, so you're bound to be a bit behind in the pure longevity aspect. Well, try not to spend all your points in one place. Who knows when you might need them. Oh, I also adjusted the price of some of the rewards because I was, looking around at some other Twitch channels to compare and contrast my prices with other similar rewards. I wanted to make sure I wasn't overcharging anyone. So one of the redeems, or most of the redeems, got brought down a fair bit. It's 2 a.m. there, really. Oh. Oh, right. Right. Do you ever sleep, Naruto? 'Cause it feels like you come to my streams far too frequently for you to sleep at all. See, this here also needs to move up a lot higher. That's very lopsided. Just have very bad time zone synergy, apparently. Very unfortunate. Sleep most of the time, yeah. It feels as if the majority of people that come here, at the very least semi-regularly, have very poor time zone matchups with me. Because I know Aqua's practically nocturnal. Mitz lives in Australia, so that's another bad matchup. See, who else comes here often? Probably some more people that I'm not thinking of off of the top of my head. See, I know Randon and Gygus. That's whose strength, it's Gygus. Randon and Gygus say they lurk a lot, but I don't actually know their time zones or when they're actually in stream, so who knows? But Randon and I stream at fairly similar times, so I can't imagine it's too awkward for him most of the time. So that's some comfort at least. Yes, I'm perhaps not in a very good place to scold, as I have been having fairly poor sleep myself recently. That Aqua has yelled at me a number of times for. And my workload is becoming, unfortunately, burdensome. Oh, yes. I had, what was it? I had some exams earlier. My exams were last week, though. But yes, I do hope you do well. Let's see, I did mention last stream that I had, some things I was planning on cooking as well, but I've unfortunately not gotten around to it.
Because you're better than everyone else. You're waifu material.
I feel like, one of the things that I could be doing for sound redeems is, describing the, I don't know, not situation in which they're most useful.
What the fuck is that? Look at his face. It's like a sleep paralysis demon.
But it feels like, some of them are a bit more situational than most.
Sir, showtime here!
But perhaps if I put in the description, I don't know, perhaps the mood that they evoke. Because that's why in the, Lovely Boy Redeem.
Get the!
Yes, that's why in the Lovely Boy Redeem I put the, caps spam, panic, because there's no real way to tell from the phrase lovely boy what is actually going to be said in that clip. And I am trying as hard as I possibly can to get good. This is the culmination of couple months worth of practice. I have had a fairly good day today. Yes, like I said, there's no need to go spamming them. Feel free to save them for more opportune moments. I put them in there because I enjoy them, so I'm always glad to hear any sound redeems go off. Let's see. I'm trying to actually understand what I did with this collar here. Like that's about right. Okay, now I run into some issues. Because this portion of the hair is behind the arm. And that portion should be behind the arm. A bit more specific in here. It is probably one of the better ideas that I had looking at other people's channels. Because it wasn't entirely my own idea. Who was it? Ray suggested that I revamp my channel point rewards sometime back, so I decided to look into what other people had for their channel rewards to see if I could glean any inspiration. And I came across the sound redeems, which has turned out far more positively than I ever could have anticipated. Yes, unfortunately for me, I am almost always asleep when Aqua is streaming, so I definitely don't have nearly that many channel points. Actually, do you know what? Does his... Oh, he actually has a bunch of necklaces on. I've just completely missed that in my rendering. I'll have to remedy that in a bit. But another issue that I've actually had is that since I've been going to sleep later, it's actually gotten worse for my chances of catching any of Aqua's streams. As now, I'm going to sleep around the time that they start streaming. Yeah. Pretty bad. Okay, I do actually need to, let's see, widen this. I suppose around here? I do that, because the way I have it drawn in the original, it looks like his arm is a piece of linguine. I need to make sure the perspective here is correct, because that's what's going to show the thickness of the wrist. It looks a bit better than what I had originally. Alright. I'm gonna leave that for later, since it is a hand. Hands are quite a pain to draw. I did actually get a reference book from Aqua. They very graciously lent me one. What's that line? Is that meant to be hair? Where did you come from? Or is that part of the decoration of his jacket? I think it is. Went oddly high up. Well, I'll just ignore it for now. Mark of any great artist. Ignore your problems for later, till they compound upon each other and become far more difficult to deal with than it would have been initially. Feels like my buttons on my tablet are starting to stick. I do hope that's not my actual tablet starting to act up. I know it was cheap, but I hope it doesn't start to malfunction this early into its life cycle. But I am also getting, my desired lines a lot easier than I normally do. Of course, as soon as I say that, they start coming out a lot messier. Oh, oops. Didn't mean to do that. Alright. This is going fairly well. I wonder, should I start putting in the details now or later? Might be too big of a aspect of design to save it till much later. Alright, well. Let's bring this over then. Because I'll just position it around here. I'll start working on the collar here. Oh. Shoulder line can disappear. You should be hidden. Until I finish the lines? Possibly. But, my main concerns are things like this sort of sleeve here. I'd have to change the lines anyways, just to, make it work, because this is just sort of the outline of everything. I've also made his face a bit too wide. Probably narrow it up a bit. Squeeze those cheeks in a little bit, have it curve up a bit sooner. Oh yeah, for certain on this side. Just going to do that now. I think this side is fairly fine, but this side was veering far too wide. I feel like I may just need to squeeze his face together if I want it to be more accurate. Ah, eyelashes also. I wonder, I'll put that in a slightly more detailed area. Yes, he has things like these pauldrons, which I've not even drawn on, which would be a bit tricky to do afterwards. I want to move that. But I also think that finishing the lines might be helpful. And once again, this end is going to be left untouched. I might even want to do the hands off stream so that I can take as much time as I need looking at references. So incredibly fortunate that the magician's feet are hidden behind these flowers, because otherwise I'd have a very difficult time depicting them. Feet are another one of my major weaknesses. Welcome back, Naruto. What have you gotten to eat? I didn't have too much today. I ate a waffle earlier today. Well, some crackers and cheese. I'm not too hungry, fortunately. 6 a.m. food? Well, that's practically when you're supposed to be eating breakfast anyways, if you're an early riser. Just think of it as breakfast. I myself used to have tasks that required me to wake up at around 3 a.m. is when I would leave and go do that job. I am Doritos and Sprite. Doesn't sound too terribly nutritious. But I'm not too terribly nutritious with the things I eat as well, so I have no room to say much. Quite a few ruffles and layers to everything. I need to remember which items are meant to be on top of each other. Going to be... What did he put off? There we are. Let's hide these sketches now. There we are. That's fairly well lined out. Okay, I think I can actually start putting in details now. He's so very detailed. Alright, well, first thing... I've done it again. Alright. Simple fix. Simple fix. You cut that out. Bring it over here. There we are. Now everything's on the appropriate layer. Good. Alright, where to start? I suppose I'll go top-down approach. Let's add in all of these necklaces. Actually going to thin the line to a single pixel brush. These no longer need to be very hard outlines. I need to get everything in such a position that I can clearly see everything together. I don't want to mess up any of these. He is very, gilded, I suppose would be a good word to use. Trying to figure out how these strings work is a bit tricky. Narrows into small point, 1 diamond, and 2 tassels. Alright, I think the single pixel brush is actually too narrow. I will have to go back up to the 2 point, because that looks a bit weak line-wise. Just... Oh. It's also fine that I did that because I realized I was drawing on the wrong layer. Yeah. I'm also interested in seeing what game wins the poll. I believe I retweeted it earlier today, the poll that I have running to choose my next long-running game. I don't remember if it was today or yesterday. Time has been functioning fairly strangely for me these past few days. Yeah, saw it on Twitter. How am I going to copy the necklace? I'm just going to draw as approximately as I possibly can. I was very fortunate that the standing position for the magician is practically just how most VTubers stand anyways, so not very much difficulty in depicting that. Yes, that is unfortunately one of my main weaknesses, that I can draw from references fairly well, but the only thing it'll get me is a fairly standard copy of what I'm trying to draw. Yes, last I saw, Dragon's Dogma was winning. Will be interesting game to play. Perhaps I should check a little bit. Remember how many hours it has left to go. It can't be too much longer, because I had it scheduled to end at on Thursday, I'm fairly certain, unless I got the times wrong. I feel as if I've made this a bit too bulky here. There's a limit to how fine the detail can be. When you're working with such small areas on the canvas. I don't like it when I get down to these pure pixel measurements. Hopefully luck is enough for this. Necklace is nearly sorted. Still these little feather baubles that are attached to these rings as well. Oh. There's no doubt that Lashin is very fancy, but very hard to draw. I wonder. I believe Lashin has started streaming already. Ooh. That was a redemption of something. Not entirely sure what. Ah, Aqua is now hosting. I assume that means that, they themselves might not be too far behind that. I keep saying that I'm going to make custom sounds for, hosts and whatnot. But I do just keep forgetting. Unless that was an automatic host, I suppose. I'm not entirely sure how hosting works, if I'm going to be entirely honest. I think I said entirely twice there. A very heavy sentence that turned into. Right, I think think I'm just going to have this be one feather on each side apiece. Drawing multiple... There we go. I don't know why it was so difficult for me to draw a sickle going upwards. It's still being a problem. There we are. That's about as close as I feel like I'm going to get it. His eyes are definitely far too high up on his face. Those need to get dropped down a good few centimeters. Trying to cut off a bit of his hair as well, but nothing can be done about that, really. I think that's going to look better. But who knows? Perhaps I've just monster mashed his face. I should probably also draw on the eyebrows. There we go. I think that potentially looks a bit better. I'll have to look at it from a bit further away. Probably for the best, yeah. Eyebrows. What do his eyebrows look like? Wide and tapering. With like that. Coming a bit more center. Be around, just past the eye divot. But not quite so wide. There we are. I think that's probably as good as I could get it. Yeah, that looks right. Then for the other side. Let's see, do I just flip it and rotate it again? No. I think I can probably draw the same thing twice. I don't even have to draw the full thing, it'll be hidden behind his hair partly. Bit too squiggly, I think. That's nothing some selective erasing can't fix. There we are. Eyebrows definitely helped out. I feel like I've made his horns a bit thin as well. Not much to do about that at this point. Alright. So, let's get on to some very tricky stuff. Getting the gilding on here. Fortunately, just Simple peaks. For the most part. Wonder how well I could get away with making them regular peaks rather than peaks and valleys and patterns and whatnot. Yes, this is definitely something that probably draw in. Single point, because it's not meant to have mass, I suppose. Just decoration. Fashion's a man, I'm fairly certain. Let me check Twitter. I'm roughly 99% certain Martian is a man. An Ashbourne. Traveling demon bard, he's British. Doesn't have pronouns. But I see him participating in a lot of male VTuber specific activities. I think I might do a similar thing that I did when I was drawing Zard Roka, where I issue a few of the more annoying details to draw. So there's a chance that some of this gets left on the cutting room. Sit up a bit straighter for that. Actually do with moving my chair in a little bit as well. You're just over here regulating all of my bodily functions, aren't you, Naruto?
Don't ask questions. Just consume product and then get excited for next product.
I will consume the water and get excited for the next time you allow me to drink. Alright then. I suppose I'll move on to the next caller. It's round about the same, so I won't have... What did I draw in on that layer? Oh, I think it was a chunk of hair. Just the slightest little speck. And accidentally got trapped on the wrong layer. Yes, I believe it was this portion of hair here. Just happened to be on the wrong layer. Right then. Simple enough. But the next layer is... Oh, that's odd. Wonder if this section of the costume got left unfinished? The other side is far more detailed. Oh, I'll be true to form and not detail that side of it. Just in case that's how it's supposed to be. Right, I actually need to get in fairly close. Ooh. Details here actually need me to have a bit more of a sturdy hand. It's odd. Feels like I just wasn't drawing lines there. I'll just section that off so that the tip can be yellow and the rest can be left blank. Let's draw in... what is this? Some sort of bird, perhaps? The angle a bit wrong there. Alright, let's just move everything over again. Oh no, but I can actually just move the entire canvas over a little bit. Forgot about that. It looks like it might be a little bit troublesome, but I'm not having too much of an issue thus far. Oh, I've made it far too long, actually. I don't even do all of that. It's the base of its tail should actually be around here. Cut that a bit shorter then. There's also, whatever these are, they look like they could possibly be animals, but what I've just realized, a portion of that bird's not on the right layer. Time to fix things again. To layer below. There we are. Bird's on the correct layer. Wish I was able to notice that faster. It's never too much of a hassle to fix, it's just... well, it exists. But must be fixed. Looks like because of the way I positioned his hair, won't actually have to draw some of this bird, which is completely fine with me. In fact, the hardest part of it to draw, which is its wing, is very conveniently concealed behind this hair. Alright, now for whatever these are on the bottom. Looks like it might be an animal, but it also looks like there's a good chance it's just abstract shapes. I think the hair can stay where it is. Because it's, the hair is just there. Hair is in front of the wing. It doesn't have to match up exactly with the original drawing. In fact, it's probably better that it doesn't match exactly. Because my goal here isn't to make a perfect recreation of Laoshin. It is to draw him. Because if I was aiming for perfect recreation, I would just be tracing it, which is also something that I definitely don't want to be doing. Tracing artwork. The big no. Alright. But for this one, I am just going to copy and mirror it because that was a pain to draw and I do not wish to do so again. Create a copy. Move Laoshin a bit further out of the way. And, right, I clicked on the wrong thing. Inking copy. Or no, inking copy 2. Not a fan of the fact that there are now transparent pixels around it, but it won't be too much of a hassle to fix later on. Ooh. Lots of buttons. Looking at this now, I'm realizing that the entire section of this is trimmed with a gold line. I suppose I'll just add that in a little bit. What am I using to draw? I'm using Clip Studio Paint. Yes, no, it's not Photoshop. Clip Studio Paint is a one-time purchase, whereas for Photoshop you have to pay a subscription fee to keep using it for the license. I don't know that there's too much of a difference between the two programs. Most of the artists that I watch actually use Clip Studio Paint rather than Photoshop. Although there are some that are Photoshop users. The only example that's directly springing to mind is Drawfee, who all use Photoshop. But I know they constantly complain about the fact that it is a subscription service instead of a one-time purchase. Well, keeping the width of this line consistent is exhausting. And also I'm not doing it. Just the attempt is pretty difficult. I'm certainly trying. All right. A fair amount of detail already. How many tassels are there? 1, 2, 3, 6, 7 tassels. Well then. The circle was almost good, but then for some reason it didn't close on this side. There we are. Actually just going to these interior lines now while I'm at it. While I have the tool open. Or I'm having a lot of trouble drawing circles. Ovals are coming out fairly easily. Or, no, that's 5. 6. 7. All right. And then let's get tassels. Okay. I can't actually be that zoomed in. I need a reference for how the tassels look. Okay. Just sort of rectangular. Skewed rectangles. Yes, now that I've actually... I suppose I haven't properly beaten Hades, but I've seen the first escape ending.
Greetings to one and all.
Oh,
Please enjoy your stay.
Lulu. Welcome. Good to have you here. Welcome to the Raiders. I am, let's see. Let's draw out so that you can see what's going on right now. I'm currently working on tarot artwork for VTubers. So here we have Laoshin as the magician. Yes, welcome, Lulu. I haven't spoken with you in a little while now. Hopefully another art friend stream can happen soon. I believe Aqua was planning something like that a little while ago. You were just reading tarot. Interesting. I assume that means you actually do proper tarot readings then. No? Just for fun then? Learning, I see. Yes, I had a friend. I haven't talked to them in a while, but they actually did tarot readings. They're a very interesting person. I find most people involved in tarot are generally pretty fascinating. Tarot is very interesting, which is, I suppose, why I decided to try and draw them. Alright, perhaps I actually just need to go in and thin out these lines. Need to make my canvases much larger in the future. I'm trying to remember.
If you hit a bird with a brick, it'll stop moving.
That's one of my new sound redeems. See, that's, for additional context, that's not actually just about killing birds with rocks. It is a reference to type matchups in Pokemon. Birds are weak to stone type. Wonder if,
What the fuck is that? Look at his face, it's like a sleep paralysis demon.
wonder if that's meant to be a reference to killing two birds with one stone. Now that I'm thinking about it. Hmm. Yes, it hadn't occurred to me until that very moment when I was actually explaining the meaning behind that redeem. Okay. There's too many lines in one location. I feel as if I probably should have done details on a separate layer from the inking. Because it's making it very difficult for me to put any overlapping layers in here. Suppose I'll just erase this. Ah, yes, so I still have the issue where my desktop doesn't have enough USB ports. But if I just open up, the capture software, I can just have my idle breathing going on, but unfortunately it doesn't match my face at all. So, that was a workaround that I would have discovered, I suppose. Alright, I'll just leave that be for now. Oh, I've been fully rigged ever since I started. I was one of the crazies who, started off fully rigged. I was never actually a PNG tuber. But, yeah. I mean, not entirely surprising, given how I'm actually just fairly static whenever I'm doing things. I've actually been making a bit more of an effort to be a bit more mobile while I'm streaming so that I do actually move. Alright. Oh, that has been a nauseating amount of detail that I just added. Now to do a little bit more. Because Laoshin decided what clothes he wanted to wear. He did not go easy. Yes, get some rest, Naruto. Definitely a higher priority than watching my streams, that's for certain. Also give Aaron a bit of a chance to catch up on channel points. Now then. I'll have to draw these hands someday. But today is not that day. I'm going to avoid them as long as possible. Okay. Oh, Gygus. Welcome. I think this might be the first or second time you've chatted. It was either you or Randon that chimed in at the end of one of my streams. Good to know you're around, though. Yes. I do remember you are penned in for Strength card. I'll be getting to that eventually. Yeah. No, I'm aware. Don't worry. You are welcome to lurk whenever you like. Or however long you want. I was considering drawing the strength. Let's see, I believe it was a couple streams ago when I started drawing Magician. But I would have also had to draw an entire lion. Because the strength is a bundled deal. And I was not in the mood to draw an entire lion. Even if it would have just been a sketch. I've done it again. Well, time to fix the layers again. I don't know that it is possible to grow out of the habit of accidentally drawing on the wrong layer. Yes, let's see, so this canvas size is 3000 by 2000. It should probably be a bit larger than that. I actually didn't notice that I had that there either. But as soon as I needed to answer the question, I just looked around. And I saw that the answer was actually there. Yes, I used to draw on a much, much smaller canvas. Until I realized that, yes. And that's what I'm doing, is drawing it on a canvas of this size, and then I crop it to the size of the card. 25, yeah, so my canvas is just about the same size. But I am only drawing on a smaller portion of it. So, actually, I'm just going to temporarily crop it down to size and see if that'll actually change the description at all. If I crop that, does it actually change the pixel count? Yes, so I'm drawing on roughly 1000 by 1800. So, that's probably why I'm getting annoyingly pixelated quality when I zoom in. See, his leg's looking a bit too tube-like right now. I gave it a bit more definition. Oh, I can't believe I didn't notice his tail. I have to draw that up there. Down there. I read your up there comment and combined that with saying down there. His hands don't actually come very far out of the sleeves now that I'm looking at them. Fairly buried in there. I suppose that means I can actually hide a fairly large portion of his hand in that sleeve. Yeah. Yeah, this is the pixel count of the size of your brush. I'm drawing entirely freehand. We're just going to get that sash some extra dimension, because it was just bothering me the fact that it blended directly into his body. Yes, I definitely encourage anyone who is interested to just try drawing. 'Cause that's what I did, and this is the point that I have reached in around 4 months, I'm pretty sure. 4 months of digital art practice. And I am still direct copying poses. But it's progress. I'm starting to get spoiled for choice. What areas do I start detailing now? See, I'm going to do the sleeves, I suppose. Yes. Around 4 months. Possibly a little bit longer. Let's see, when would I have started this? I started drawing with, let's see. What is it? Mouse. With my mouse. 3D models and clip. I haven't actually gone to the 3D models section. Yes, I would have started drawing with my mouse sometime in late December. And I got a tablet sometime after. Oh. There's so many fellow orcs here. Both of the lurking orcs have come out of hiding. Final Fantasy Tactics? I did see a bit of your tactics stream. I don't think I stayed for too long, though, I'm afraid to say. Ooh. My cat just appeared out of nowhere. I'm not entirely sure how that happened. He was under my desk, but he appeared as if he was falling or jumping off of something. I guess that's the sound he made. I wouldn't mind getting some art of my cat commissioned, that I can have him alongside me. I do, I have a cat. His name is Sebastian. Technically not my cat, he is my sister's cat. I'm just taking care of him for an extended period of time. I've actually been taking care of him for over a year at this point. Because she's currently living somewhere that doesn't allow pets. But I think in a few months she'll be able to take him back. But he's practically my cat at this point. I wasn't aware that I said it with any sort of inflection. I suppose it is a very fancy name. Has a tendency of being said in a fairly austere manner. I have this curving in the wrong direction. Be splayed outwards a bit more. It's fine. Okay. Back to gilding. Yes, but next time I draw, I'm going to make the canvas obnoxiously large. Just scale it up as high as it can possibly go. Yes, my sister has a fairly peculiar naming sense with cats. This isn't the first time it's been given cats have been given an odd name. Unfortunately, I can't actually name or give the name of the other cat, as it is the username that she goes by. And occasionally she will stop in and watch my streams and comment as well. I don't want to give that away. Although I have actually given a fairly small pool for people that it could possibly be. There aren't too many people who will comment on my streams. It's entirely possible that you might be able to figure it out just by observing. Try not to, though. I don't know how she would feel about being viewed as part of the community. This gilding is fairly difficult here. I think I need to make it 1.5 pixels so that I stop running into the annoying portions where the lines don't connect properly. Yes. All of my family knows that I stream, unfortunately, I suppose. So there's not much I can do about it. No, 3 is too blocky. Was it at 2 then? I suppose it was. I think one of my favorite aspects of drawing is when I successfully execute a perspective trick like this. It actually looks like these are 2 separate pieces. Yeah, I need to fix it on this end, though. There we are. Oh. Be tricky. Okay. Now then, how much more detailed am I going to be with Laoshin? Do I start skipping details at this point? Just for the sake of completing this in any reasonable amount of time. As there are so many little aspects, I think I might drop a rose on the collar, or the hem of his... What is this, a petticoat, I think it would be called? Yes, fortunately, all of this is hidden behind the table. Very fortunate there. A lot of detail that I don't have to draw. I suppose I'll get the start of the bangle that's here, but again, a fortunately large portion is hidden behind that table. Large circle, small circle. Repeat that 3 times, it looked like. There. And just the top of a crescent. Oh yeah, feel free to leave at any time if you're tired. I'm glad you came along. Good having you here. You know what? I think I'm just going to leave off on the pauldrons. Those can stay gone. I'm sorry I have reduced your shoulder protection, Laoshin, but I don't know if I could have taken it if I had to add in pauldrons underneath all of this. Oh, those do run a lot wider than I'm drawing them. Also, did I miss a bit of hair here? Let me pull up the original sketch. No. Well then, I think I should just add a little bit extra. Just for the sake of allowing that hair to disappear somewhere. Maybe not. I think I might need to curve it back in a bit more. Oh, that's actually not a bad idea, to have the hair curve like that. Alright, and now, if I erase that portion there. Perfect. That looks fine. And now this portion of the hair. And curve a bit more naturally out to the side. The brush thickness down. There we are. Alright. My cat's scratching something, but I'm unable to identify what it is. I hope he's not damaging the walls. He is a bit of a property destruction monster, unfortunately. He's very fond of clawing away door frames. Had to apply duct tape to quite a few of them to stop the rampage. So this this arm looks a bit short. Oh no. Yes, that arm is definitely short. I'm actually going to stand up and measure where my arm reaches on my leg. Yeah, the answer is mid-thigh. That arm is minuscule. That is half an arm. I'll also take a drink. I suppose that was also a bit of a stretch there as well. Now, normally when my cat's just wandering around... Ooh, I actually managed to crack my neck. I've been trying to do that for quite a while now. But normally when my cat's just around like this, it's because I haven't fed him. But I definitely have today. I'm not entirely sure what he wants. Because normally, when he's just here to visit, he'll come and sit next to me. Just rest alongside me. Let me actually draw out a bit of a diagram. I crack my neck just by moving it. Right, so I'm going to draw what my office looks like right now. Ooh, there we go. He's jumped up finally. Unfortunately, he's being a bit obtrusive right now. I cannot see the screen. I'm going to have to move you. Okay, he moved himself. Fair enough. Let's see. So, I believe I tweeted this out a little while ago, but I actually stream out of a storage room. It's basically like a very large closet. The room is here. This is where I sleep. It's a closet off of my room. This is my bed. I sleep here. And my desk is here on the other side of this wall. My chair is here. And I have a little raised table right here. Just off to my right-hand side. And my cat will jump up and sleep on this little table that I have set up for him. Very sweet. Yeah. And there's also just a whole mess of items that have been thrown into storage that are just sort of scattered around in these areas here. So I have to walk in diagonally. There's an old exercise bike here. Yes. This is roughly what my office looks like. I work in a very cramped environment. It's very cozy, though. So I know I don't actually have too much of an issue with, echo, but I've been meaning to set up a curtain to run along here so that I'm actually even more enclosed. Just to improve my audio quality that much more. Alright, back to Laoshin. Oh, I think I'm at the point where I might just want to draw his hands and then start coloring in, and the rest of the details be damned. Because I'm starting to get tired. Alright. So I want to actually match the hand position of the original Fool. Because tarot cards have very specific meanings. So I don't doubt that the position of his hand could possibly mean something. Let me actually just move everything closer. Bring that up a layer. Put it right here so that I can get as detailed as I need to be. So I think the sleeve will cut off the hand around there. I only need to be drawing that portion of the hand. Let's see, 2-point thickness should be fine for this. I'm just going to match the form as specifically as possible. Alright. Enjoy whatever it is you're heading off to do there, Gygus. That's not a thumb, that's a claw. What am I drawing? That looks a bit better, I suppose. No, it doesn't. And also, that's too... Ooh! That's too much hand. See, the thumb should be here, poking out of the sleeve. Perhaps I should have done this on the sketching phase of drawing. Because I'm drawing this very sketchily. cat is just wandering around my desk at this point. Alright. I have reached a decision. I'm going to draw these hands off stream, because trying to draw them now is putting me in a lot of pain. Metaphorical pain. It doesn't actually hurt. I'm just going to start coloring. Because that's easier. Alright. So, just going to do a bunch of fill brushing right now. Or fill tool, I suppose. Right when I needed... Oh, I should also be doing this on a different layer. Yes. I can deal with that in the future. I also have, what is it? I have a bunch of... or not a bunch. I have a reference book that was gifted to me. And I'm going to be using that. Nickname or short of hand, feel free to... I have multiple at this point. So... for reference, Barley, Leon, or Leone. Either one, really. Practically anything you could match up there. Okay. If I just close these areas off with the color that I'm coloring with, that should work fine. Oh, and I'm on the wrong layer again. Yes. Again, feel free to use whichever of those you want. Let's just get rid of this copy layer that wasn't doing anything. Now I can create color layer. Color can go below inking, just for convenience sake, so that I don't have to go over any of the lines. Yes, any of the permutations you could create out of my name, I will accept, I suppose. Was it on 2 that was fine? There's too many open gaps there. That's unfortunate. I suppose I'll have to color in the gilding by hand. About the right shade of yellow. Right. That might actually be enough cover for the rest of it to get filled in. I suppose the one annoying thing is that there's no shorthand for the fill bucket. I actually have to go and select that manually. Alright, where are the gaps on this one? There? I think that's it. Yes, it was. Alright. Or technically, the buttons are the same color as the gilding, but I feel like if I color them in a slightly darker color, it'll look a bit better. Give it a little bit of differentiation. And the tassels are red. Yes, I have... Let's see, what buttons do I have? I have an undo button. I have a button that switches to eraser, one that switches to pen or pencil. I have a zoom in and zoom out button. I have brush size changing buttons. It only goes up by the increments shown on the side though. And I have a button that allows me to move the canvas without scrolling around. But no button for the fill tool, so I have to go and select that by hand. I can, but there's not really anything I'd want to replace, though, is the main issue. All of these buttons serve fairly crucial functions that I wouldn't want to change out. Although, now that I'm thinking about it, I have a button on my pen that's not currently doing anything. Because I have a button on my pen that's color picker. Ah, this button goes to eraser. There we go. I have a redundant button that I could replace with a fill tool. There we go. I'll probably get to work on that after I finish the stream. Switch that around. Yes, because I have already changed some buttons around because originally the button for pen used to go to brushes instead, and I don't use the brush very often. The brush does have some very useful features like the gouache, which does color mixing, and it does it very nicely. But I don't use it very often. I do use it for backgrounds occasionally. But that's a uncommon occurrence. Just fill in all of these little holes. Do and redo. Yes, I don't really redo enough for me to bother about that too much. And if I do redo, then I'll just Control Y. Alright, I'm getting flat colors in fairly well. And I'm also not someone who's very good at or even particularly capable shading things, so I don't think I'll bother too much with that. And unfortunately, since this is just a mirrored image, it's got a bunch of transparent and blurry pixels, so just have to do this by hand a little bit. Not a big fan of how messy, transparent pixels make doing lines. Also, that never got finished. Going to be on the coloring layer, but I'm not too bothered by it, I suppose. As long as I don't color over it, it'll be fine. Ah. Really? That's a little bit I'd like to erase. You're intruding on the interior of a line you shouldn't be on. Ah. Wait a second. That's not the right color at all. There we go. Much better. Now it matches. Okay. Let's see. Time to... add in a little bit of a background layer. Just so that I can tell what's being colored in white. Back up to the color layer now. This is very garish and fairly difficult to look at. It is a necessary burden. Alright, fill tool. Being a bit of a bother for me right now. Oh, what is... oh, right. I made my brush obnoxiously large to draw things. Or to draw in the background. Alright. The lines aren't quite thick enough, so I'm just going to have to do it by hand. Hopefully it'll be fine on the other side, though. More or less. There are a couple of pockets that manage to escape. Ooh. It really is garish. My poor eyes grew accustomed to it. It was the most neon of greens. Alright, hopefully I'll be done with it soon, though, so that I can, get rid of this color. I am feeling kind of blinded right now. This really is getting to the point where the color is so offensive, I'm debating whether or not I should take some time to just switch it to a different color that's less painful to look at. All of the viewers are very fortunate that they can actually just look away from the screen while I'm doing this. Suppose I could try drawing this with my eyes closed. But, I don't think I'm quite at that level. Right. That can get hidden now. Now the white feels kind of blinding in all honesty. Bright red. Ugh. Well, as long as it gets the job done, I suppose. I forgot to do the lacing on that sleeve. Let me undo that very quickly. I think I do it now. Oh, in case, anyone who is here that wasn't here when I sketched out the rough for Lausian, the reason that his sleeve is pinned up like that is because the magician is holding a double-sided candle, and his sleeves are so trailing that if he didn't pin it up, it would most certainly catch fire. Alright, I think I change it now. So, ooh, not purple. No, thank you. I feel like that was one of the best pieces of visual comedy I've done in a while. Just idly pinning up the sleeve. Okay, how do I want to deal with this? There we go. I think that actually works. What does that look like from further back? Yeah, that's probably fine. Turns out my piece of visual comedy is making drawing a lot more difficult. Oh well. Tarot cards aren't particularly well drawn anyways. Especially as I discovered while drawing the Fool. Which is unbelievably poorly proportioned. I suppose it's more the anatomy of it. Yes, much like many people who complain about superhero characters or anime designs, the Fool has no spine whatsoever, especially at the waist. It twists at angles that are incredibly impossible. I'm just going to trust that these lines are going to fill properly. Never mind, no I'm not. Bit too paranoid for that. Oh. Welcome back, Aaron. I'm sorry to hear it. Okay, good. Ah. I need that center portion. I noticed that it was just a very dark blue. A very, very navy color that's not found, I think, anywhere else on his design. It's going fine. I've given up on trying to draw the hands. I'll save that for later. But right now, I'm just coloring in all of the flats. And I don't know that I'll be shading anything. Perhaps I'll do a little bit on the belt because of how three-dimensional it is. That's a pretty big if. Yes, there's so many folds and creases in the fabric. It feels like it might be a bit odd not to include it. Where did the navy go? Did I put that on a different layer? Must have.
Because God has cursed me for my hubris, and my work is never finished.
Yeah. That's pretty much my sentiment right now. I am very glad that I got into art, but that is my sentiment near constantly while I'm drawing. Ah. Alright then. Color in some skin. Oh, they certainly are. Yes, as I said before, I have reference books for anatomy, so I will be making heavy reference of those when I get around to drawing the hands. But as soon as I finish this coloring, I think I'm going to end my stream for the day. It is getting rather late. I know it's far later for a couple of other people, specifically Aaron. So, I don't have much room to complain about the time right now. I actually just need to fill bucket in a large portion of the hair. That's about it for me. Yeah, 3 a.m. Yes, I'm currently looking at around... why are eyes so tricky? All these people and their multicolored eyes. Makes it very difficult for me to just fill bucket it in and call it a day. Perhaps it's time to use the gouache. Grab the lighter shade of blue here. Gouache is a lot of fun to play with. It's basically just a better version of the blending tool. There we go. Oh, I nearly forgot to color in his ears. Now the real question is, do I include little ear lines on them? I think I have to at this point. Go back to the inking layer. Get these ridges in. There we go. Ear lines. Recognizable. Right. Now here's the dilemma. Do I take the darker half of the hair or the lighter half? I think lighter half for the hair in front and darker half for the hair in back. This is the lighter half, right? This looks pretty dark to me. Oh my. Alright, time to undo everything. I put it all on the wrong layer. Back to the color layer. I don't know that would have affected it too badly, but I just wanted things to be in the right places, I suppose. Feeling very cursed by hubris right now. There's white dots in the hair because there's just little pixels that are cut off. As you see, there's a direct barrier there that prevented the fill bucket from accurately reaching those areas. We have to just go back in and touch up the little finer details. Even little bits of skin that escaped as well. Ah, Navis, welcome. Oh my. That was unexpected. Thank you for the bits. I saw that, I think Moody was streaming around the same time that I started, so I'm supposing his stream has ended by now then. Yes, very grateful for that though. Let's see. He's still going, really. I suppose it just feels as if you two are fairly inseparable when it comes to his streams. You're on there every time that I've shown up at the very least. Ugh. Need to, make Laoshin's hair look like it's actually connecting to his head rather than floating behind it. You are a mod? That makes sense. I don't actually have any mods. Not bothered with any of that setup yet. My streams are fairly easy to self-moderate anyways, so I don't really think I need to bother too much with that. Yes, he has a very Aki Rosenthal situation going on with his hair right now. Suppose if I just go to inking and connect a line here, will that look any better? Not really. Pop in and say hello. Well, thank you very much. I did my best. So, hopefully it looks, I suppose, passable at the very least. Yes. If you want a tarot card yourself, feel free to ask. I have quite a few openings left. I am planning on doing them all, however long that takes me. Wondering if I actually do some shading here. Just to get some lines and make it look like it's properly connecting. Oh, I'm not charging for these, I'm just doing them for fun and practice. Don't worry about that. And there's a fairly good chance that if you don't ask for one, I may just do one myself. Okay, I think I see what the problem is here. I do this sort of thing with the hair, that makes it look like it's following a curve. Yes, I've only gotten one done so far, which is myself, so I suppose no one's had a chance to try and force money on me for completing these yet. But fan art exists. I'm allowed to make art of people for free. That's... Thank you very much. I'll get to it. Don't you worry about that. Ooh. Alright. I suppose I'll, put you on high priority then. Just let me know which one you want, I suppose. Oof. I did say I was just going to flat color in the hair and then end off for the day. Whichever I'd like. Alright, I'll see if I can find one that's fitting for you. Yes, I'm very grateful that you stopped by, and thank you for the sizable donation. I'll See to it that it gets put to good use. Ugh. I know one thing, is that Mitzbun and Aquapunk are going to be very unhappy when they show up to my next stream. Especially the amount of, fighting with bits they were doing for the #1 spot last time I was live. Okay. I'm going to get sucked into this if I keep shading. I just like how shading looks too much. It adds so much depth to the drawing. Okay. I did see a couple more details that I'd like to get done before I leave for the day. Namely, the gilding here. I do hope that this doesn't, spur them on to donate more to try and reclaim that spot. Because I'd feel pretty bad about that. Yes, good luck. Good luck with sleeping there, Aaron. I'm just about done for the day myself. Welcome back. Yes, I'm just about done. I don't know why I'm trying to color that in by hand. I can just fill bucket. I believe I just momentarily forgot that this option existed. I don't know how. Right. Yes, as for now, I need to deal with the coloring of the ruffled sections and the ruffled part here. Perhaps I'll draw on the leg band and the everything else because this just looks like a empty tube right now. Not very appealing at all. But this has been some fairly decent progress. Actually, you know what? Real quick, I'm just gonna very cheekily make a red table. Oop. Yes, I am drawing VTubers as tarot cards. As the general conceit of what's happening here. Let's see, where is it? Aqua is Temperance right now. I myself am the Fool. The Magician is what I'm working on right now, who is Laoshin. This fellow here. The Chariot is Jisok. Strength is Gygus. Temperance, as I said, was Aqua. The Tower is Oros, I believe. I don't remember specifically, but Oros is currently going through a re-debut, so I can't actually do that one until I get his full model. But other than that, the rest of them are open. I do have to find one for Navis now. He might be getting the Empress or something similar to that. Alright, and Mitzbun is going to be either Justice or Judgment. Not sure which yet. Yes. Oh, but, given that it is around just past 10 my time, and I have been going for 2.5 hours, I'll be ending the stream here for now. Let's find someone to raid, why don't we? See. Who is live? Ah. Good friend of the channel, Lucian, is currently streaming. I think... I mean... Navis has set a precedent, but I am entirely willing to do them for free. So, that shouldn't be a concern. It looks like Lucy is streaming with Alistair. Playing some Phasmophobia. So if you were, watching this for, you know, calm going to sleep vibes, I would suggest tuning out now because we're about to go into what I'm going to presume is going to be some very high-pitched shrieking. But I had a very pleasant day, and I'm glad so many people stopped by. But as for now, I hope you enjoy the rest of your day or night, whichever it happens to be.